Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand for the national anthem of Barbados. Too short for me.
How you feel there?
Yeah.
Good. Let's go.
You may be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Belle Holder. I'll be serving as your Master of Ceremonies for the afternoon. Welcome to the Barbados Port Inc. here at Cube Blue, the 60th anniversary celebration of the official opening of the Port of Bridgetown, which was opened in 1961. I take this opportunity to say good afternoon and welcome to the Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, the Honorable Kirk Humphrey, MP. Good afternoon and welcome to MP Tony Moore. Good afternoon and welcome to the Chairman of the Board of Barbados Port Inc., Mr. Peter Odell, all members of the Board of the Barbados Port Inc. Good afternoon and to the CEO of the Barbados Port Inc., Mr. David Jean-Marie, all management and staff of Barbados Port Inc., specially invited guests, members of the media, to all of our online audience who are viewing via live stream, good afternoon to you. And I take this opportunity to say, hold your papers very, very tight. But honestly, we really need to just give a pause that we're actually able to sit outside this afternoon, considering everything and the challenges that we face in Barbados with the eruption of La Soufrière. But even while we say that, we need to really take into consideration our neighbors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 60th anniversary celebration of the official opening of the Port of Bridgetown, which was opened in 1961, a diamond jubilee. Those 6 decades are so much more than just the passage of time. Those 6 decades represent all of the men and women who have given service to the port over the years, who collectively have contributed to its development and maritime service to Barbados and our visitors, both for business and for pleasure travel. It would be remiss of me not to mention the mark of achievement is taking place during one of the most difficult years of the shipping industry for travel, also due to the COVID pandemic. So we acknowledge by applause those who have contributed both large and small to the development of the Port of Bridgetown over the last 60 years, and of course to those involved in its further development. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. I take this opportunity now to welcome to the podium the CEO of Barbados Port Inc., Mr. David Jean-Marie.
Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, the Honourable Kirk Humphrey MP, Mrs. Tony Moore, MP, General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Mr. Peter Odell, Chairman of the Board, and other members of the Board of Directors of Barbados Port Inc., executive management and staff of BPI, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome. 60 years ago, on May 6, 1961, the Deepwater Harbour, now known as the Port of Bridgetown, was officially opened by Sir Grantley Adams, then Prime Minister of the West Indies Federation. Today we celebrate this momentous occasion, although on a modest scale in light of the prevailing COVID-19 situation. The Port of Bridgetown has an incredible history and is of undeniable importance to Barbados. It is thanks to our port that Barbados has developed into a trading nation. Given our size, we may not be very prominent on the world map, but our rum and our charming nature as a cruise destination are recognized and respected in almost every corner of the globe. None of this would have been possible without the Port of Bridgetown. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we are celebrating here today. Until the Deepwater Harbour was built, larger ships calling at Barbados anchored in Caroline Bay. Cargo and passengers were transported to the wharf at the careenage in smaller boats, an activity which, according to the 1961 Port Department annual report, sometimes resulted in the unfortunate loss of cargo. Work on the construction of the Deepwater Harbour commenced in June 1957. The entire construction, including ancillary works and roads, cost in the region of $28 million. Pelican Island, which was located about 600 yards from the mainland, was incorporated into the construction of the Deepwater Harbour, adding about 90 acres of land to our island and forever changing our landscape. The final stone in the breakwater at the Bridgetown Harbour was laid on the 23rd of July 1960 by Premier of Barbados, Dr. Hugh Cummins. On February 12, 1961, the tug Pelican arrived in Barbados from England, crossing the Atlantic on its own power. The stage was set finally for bulk sugar exports to commence. Barbados' first such exports were recorded on the 10th of March 1961 when the SS Diplomat entered the new Deepwater Harbour and safely berthed under the sugar loading towers. Since then, the milestones have come in quick succession, with large-scale investment and expansion transforming the Deepwater Harbour into an award-winning international seaport that it is today. A proactive diversification strategy and ongoing infrastructure enhancements have ensured 6 decades of success for the Port of Bridgetown and has established the foundation for further prosperity. The year 1978 marked the first major upgrade of the port since its opening in 1961. This project was in preparation for the changing mode of shipping from breakbulk cargo to containerized cargo. In 2002, the harbour was dredged to 11.6 meters, resulting in the reclamation of an additional 9 acres of land to accommodate more cargo, as well as the new megaships. That same year, the Adventure of the Seas, then the largest cruise ship, made its inaugural call here at our port. 2 years later, in 2004, the Queen Mary 2, the largest cruise liner at that time, visited Bridgetown on its maiden voyage. In 2020, only last year, we welcomed the Symphony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship currently, which came as part of a massive repatriation of passengers and crew precipitated by the onset of COVID-19. The world has changed immensely since 1961, and it is only the fact that we have succeeded in keeping pace with this extraordinary transition that we remain an outstanding multi-port, in many ways better equipped than ever. The Port of Bridgetown has earned numerous accolades over the years, including 12 awards for being top port in the Caribbean. Winning in this category confirms our outstanding performance in dependability and flexibility, port efficiency and productivity, growth and development, security, health, environmental preservation, and safety. All this is in no small part due to the skill and dedication of our entire team. And when I say entire team, I mean all of those men and women who have worked at this institution from 1961 to present. Every single success the port has recorded has been on the shoulders of our team, and we value them. Our growth and expansion continues, buoyed by a stream of new and emerging demands and the ever-growing number and size of ships. Our efforts right now are being concentrated on major infrastructural projects aimed at expanding the current revenues or creating new earning opportunities. In 2 days, yet another evolution of Barbados Port will be recorded as we rebrand and we launch our new corporate identity. Ladies and gentlemen, in a way, this celebration really is the beginning of the next chapter in the history of the port. We thank you for being here on this journey with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, thank you to Mr. David Jean-Marie, the CEO of the Barbados Port, Inc. We'll hear directly now from the chairman of the Barbados Port, Inc., Mr. Peter Odell.
Let's go.
Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, protocol having been established, I'd like to say good afternoon and welcome to all of you. I'm so happy that you could join us today as we look back into our past, ponder on our present, and envision for a better future. When the Port of Bridgetown was officially opened by the late Sir Grantley Adams, then Prime Minister of the West Indies Federation, the vision was to create a new Barbados gateway. In his address at the opening ceremony of the Deepwater Harbour on May 6, 1961, Sir Grantley observed that we are living in a world that is shrinking. While others are playing about in searching out new planets, we are ensuring that export to and from this island is made far easier for all. This was the era of the USA-Russia race to space rivalry. And just 1 month before, in April 1961, the Russian astronaut Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. The completion of the Deepwater Harbour at a cost of approximately $28 million has since been hailed as the greatest and most rewarding engineering and developmental project done by a government in Barbados to date. I wanted to pause and just say this is also, for me personally, a very moving time, as my late father, the Honourable Frank Odell, was the permanent secretary responsible for the construction of the Barbados port back then. And he was very proud of his achievement when this port was constructed, and he always talked passionately about it back then. In its first year of operation, the port handled approximately 175,000 tons of cargo. Today, the port handles in excess of 1 million tons of cargo annually. I'm proud to state that the port has not only fulfilled the ambitious targets and expectations that were set out over the course of 6 decades, but has also successfully evolved into Barbados's primary gateway for international trade, ensuring Barbados's access to a global market. The Port of Bridgetown now harbors the ambition of being the most innovative green maritime hub in the world by 2030. These past 60 years were indeed a genuine springboard for conquering the challenges and opportunities of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the cusp of a transformation. We have mapped out the pathway for deeper integration into the upstream and downstream services associated with a major port. We've created a new vision, taken on a new mission. We have revised the business model and begun to look at new business opportunities and partnerships, local, regional, and global, which will position the port to emerge as a Southern Caribbean logistics and transshipment hub. The team at Barbados Port is embracing digitization, innovation, and energy transition in pursuit of advanced technological ecosystems and sustainability in every aspect of operation. New initiatives being undertaken primarily to enhance logistics, processes, and port infrastructure. One of our primary goals is to provide high levels of service, safety, environmental stewardship, and community engagement, while strengthening the economic outcomes for Barbados. Of course, we cannot do this all on our own. Throughout the course of our history, our outstanding results have been buoyed by organizations and individuals who have successfully partnered with Barbados Port, Inc. over the years. We know that our success story would be incomplete without the support of our stakeholders in commerce, shipping, transport, trade, logistics, border security, and labor relations. And we thank you all for demonstrating your commitment towards the Port of Bridgetown, a leader in the maritime sector. We are proud, very proud of our history, but prouder still of our employees. Barbados Port probably holds the record for having the highest number of long-serving employees in any organization. 16 having served 30 to 34 years, 11 having served 35 to 39 years, one at the 40-year mark, and one at 41 years of service. 196 more have served between 20 and 29 years. I take this opportunity to thank you all for helping us to make it through the years. Our port has had countless achievements and accomplishments, some through the most extenuating circumstances in recent months. Without you, we simply could not have done it. Every one of you plays a very important role in the development of Barbados Port, Inc. It is your support and dedication that have brought us where we are today. Thank you for your commitment and hard work. Some may argue that the port has essentially the same function and offers the same assurances that it did 60 years ago, to act as a gateway to the world and to ensure industry has access to a global market. The mandate of Barbados Port, Inc. has, however, broadened significantly beyond cargo and cruise services to related property development, the development of digital ecosystems, and the reduction of our carbon footprint throughout the deployment of alternative energy sources and the transition to hybrid or electric-powered equipment. In a way, this celebration is the beginning of the next chapter in the history of the port. We intend to be here for at least another 60 years and eagerly accept our mission to ensure that the foundation is laid and the conditions set to assure an even better future. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Odell. I should also acknowledge I'm really enjoying the mask strap around your neck. And maybe afterwards we could find out where we can get those. Really like that, very handy. And recently when we were here at this building, it was an opportunity to celebrate the opening of Q Blue. And at that moment, the minister was going to embark on having his office here. I hope you're enjoying, yes? You're enjoying the atmosphere here at Q Blue. So I take this opportunity now to welcome to do the feature address the Minister of Maritime Affairs and the Blue Economy, the Honorable Kirk Humphrey.
Good afternoon to everyone. A very special good afternoon to you, Chair. Good afternoon to the management and staff. A very special good afternoon to the management and staff. An extremely special good afternoon to the staff. I have a very deep appreciation for the staff of the Bridgetown Port. Special good afternoon to all invited, my permanent secretary, representatives from the Barbados Workers Union, the media, all who took time out of their schedules to be here, to be with us this afternoon. You know, as you spoke, Chair, of your father and the role he played in the port, I thought to myself, this is interesting because if he had put something in a time capsule 60 years ago, his son would have been opening it as chairman of the port and he never would have known. And it is in that vein that I think I wish to begin, because it's funny how these things come full circle sometimes. And, you know, what you're embarking on today by leaving something for people 15 years from now, who knows who's going to be opening that 15 years from now. But the truth is that you empower a person and a people and a generation and a race by leaving something for them. It's a gift almost to the future. And a gift to the future, passing on your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, you know, giving them something to work with, to work toward, but understanding that if you don't understand your past, you really don't understand your future. And it is in that context that I think this is such a worthwhile experience. But it's also in that context that I feel the converse is also true. That if you do not leave something for the future, then you deny people an opportunity to fully fulfill their duties, their responsibilities, their potentials, and so on. And one of the greatest tools of a person has been, when they're seeking to oppress or to deny somebody something, is to separate them from the history. And, you know, the Bridgetown Port is doing something that is so remarkable, which I'll explain later in the speech, but in going back to building relationships with Africa, and recognizing that where Barbados is positioned is wonderfully located to be that hub between ourselves and Africa, and to renegotiate a relationship with the past that has traditionally been taboo now because nobody wants to touch that trading lane between Africa and the Caribbean because we know what was traded back then. But it is good that we are now seeking to renegotiate that contract and to pass on something proper to our people as we too go full circle. So it is in that context that I think this event is so fundamentally important. And while some may just see it as symbolic, I think that our futures are really rooted in the fact that we get to leave something for a future generation. And I think that is the importance of this entire event. So maybe, sir, the Honorable Jack Odell is probably looking at, you know, full of pride, as his son now does something that, you know, would empower the future generations. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I want to begin by saying it is a pleasure as always to be here. As you would have heard in the recap both from the chair and from the CEO, the history of the port over 60 years is no easy history. In fact, 60 years they say in 60 days. I did not see you, PS. It is a pleasure to see my permanent secretary. I was looking for you as I spoke, but I didn't see you. It's good to see you, PS. As you would have heard in the recap from both the chair and the CEO, a lot has been done in the last 60 years since the creation of the Deepwater Harbor. But the reality is that the modern times are filled with all kinds of troubles. As we know, these are very, very difficult times for all of us. It has been so for nations, it has been so for countries, it has been so for institutions, and it is also so for the Bridgetown Port. It has never been this difficult, I believe, in the world, and never been this challenging, I believe, in the world, to be able to do business and to be able to connect and so on. And that is why I think connecting now remains so vitally important. And it is here that I wish to thank the staff again of the Bridgetown Port. And many may not recall or may choose to forget, as some people did even just after we started, that when COVID first struck Barbados, when most of us were too scared to have any contact with anything that had anything to do at all with COVID, it was the staff in the Bridgetown Port that was working assiduously, greeting the ships, greeting the people on the ships, making sure our cargo still came, making sure people were safe. If anybody in this country deserves thanks and praise, it is the staff of the Bridgetown Port. And may we never forget, and Chairman and CEO, may we never let them forget too. Because I think what was done during that period is nothing but remarkable. But at a time of increased volatility and uncertainty, the team here overcame significant challenges to maintain the delivery of essential goods. The port's success in this regard is a testament to the strength of its people, the agility of its network, and the resilience of its operating model. I see all the board directors. Every time we look up, I'm seeing new people. But I see my friend Dennis. I see all of my friends, Cersei, Pat, all the directors, Ricky. I mean, I can't call all, but I just want to acknowledge everybody because I feel when we get here sometimes a little too much formality to kill the vibe. And that at the end of the day, we are all just family. But as critical infrastructures in the global transportation system, seaports are expected to guarantee the sustainability of the population, provide reliable connectivity, and facilitate the efficient distribution of supplies. That expectation increases more so during times of crises, and the Port of Bridgetown delivered. I want to say again that the Port of Bridgetown delivered. The COVID-19 pandemic nevertheless has had a serious impact on port performance, and this is important. At the end of the just concluded fiscal year, March 31, 2021, the Port of Bridgetown had handled 1.1 million tons of cargo, down from 1.3 million tons of cargo for the previous year. The number of 20-foot equivalent units of containerized cargo handled declined from 99,423 to 83,276. With the suspension of commercial cruising, 906 vessel calls were recorded as compared to 1,342 at the end of March 2020. And needless to say, there has been no passenger-based cruise activity in Barbados since March 2020 to the present period. But to counter these negative impacts of COVID-19, ports across the world are moving towards new dynamic approaches to development and making significant strides to improve their efficiency. They are diversifying their strategies in order to stay focused and responsive to maritime business demands and opportunities. They are building specialized facilities, developing multi-purpose terminals, and focusing on becoming large-scale hubs. Here at home, we are taking steps to improve the performance of the Barbados' logistics supply chain and to reinforce our standing as an efficient logistics hub on both the services and infrastructural sides. As part of its performance improvement strategies, the port has revolutionized process efficiencies with the implementation of Lean Six Sigma methodologies, and we expect that all of the requirements of the ISO 9001 Quality Management System certification will be concluded by September of this year. A future state action plan for break bulk operations was conceptualized with the aim of reducing congestion and enhancing the customer experience. Plans also include the launch of the Customer Service Charter with key performance indicators and standardized service levels to be effected in line with the ISO QMS and formalized processes for customer complaint resolution in a bid to promote customer satisfaction rankings. I said yesterday in church, and I'm going to repeat it now, Chair, the idea that customers are complaining about the containers and the barrels and suggesting that what was sent is not what they're receiving troubles us. And I am pleased to say that, again, that we have put in place some mechanisms to help address that. I think the public should also know that the Bridgetown Port had reviewed about 4 months of the footage to see what had transpired with the containers while they were in port, and that we could report that we found nothing afoul at that time. However, it is also important to note that we have agreed to put in place a complaint system. I think it is important for us to say as well that we have determined that we were going to lock the barrels that the customs has gone through as they go back out. And we're going to try our best to seal everything that goes back out to the public of Barbados in our efforts to make sure that the public is comfortable with the work that we do in the Bridgetown Port. And these things have to mean something. So we cannot just say on paper that we're doing these things. They have to mean something in the lives and the experience of people. So I'm happy to see that the Bridgetown Port has responded to the concerns that were raised by the public. There are a number of projects being planned for the Bridgetown Port to enhance its performance and its infrastructural outlay. Among these projects, there are the enhancement, one, of cruise facilities. There's so many projects. I suspect there is no organization in Barbados about to embark on as many projects that are of such significant and fundamental contribution to the Barbadian economy and society as the amount of projects and the importance of the projects being undertaken by the Bridgetown Port. Listen to these projects. The enhancement of the cruise facilities, expansion of the shallow draft marina for yachts and pleasure craft, establishment of a boat repair facility, commercialization of the South and East Point lighthouses, repair of the Spitestone jetty. I mean, I could explain all these in more detail but afterward. But repair of the Spitestone jetty, development of the bulk handling capacities in keeping with the need of the country to import certain bulk materials for construction, generation of 100% of power needs through expansion of photovoltaic systems, waste-to-energy incineration facilities, and development of shore power to vessels using surplus green energy, development of a port community system, and the imminent launch of a maritime single window which will transform the way we do business in Barbados. And as part of the broad digitalization strategy, we intend to go fully paperless. And at last, by no means least, the development of a logistics facility for cargo and changing the way we do business in our bulk and container operations. The infrastructure work to be undertaken will support the national investment plans, which are reliant on expanded and efficient port facilities. The Bridgetown Port must therefore ensure it can competitively offer the required supporting facilities, equipment, and human resources, if it is indeed to be positioned as a conduit to national economic growth ambitions. Barbados Port Inc., in this vein, proposes to engage private sector partners in the shipping industry who have a vested interest in the cost and time efficient movement of cargo, expansion of cargo opportunities, and a willingness to pursue and expand market share in regional markets. The government of Barbados, as you know, has already outlined a very aggressive expansion plan nationally designed to create a world-class economy over the next 7 years. In fact, the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mia Motley, said that the next 7 years must be used to build the best Barbados that we can build, and in so doing, to be regarded as an exemplar for others, to be regarded as one of the best places to live and to raise a family and to do business. So we're concerned both with the economy of the thing, but also with the society of the reality of things. And as part of that drive, government is advancing an industrial transformation program for Barbados and reshaping the manufacturing sector. The program is intended to enable the sector to take full advantage of trade agreements, included but not limited to the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA, and the Caribbean Single Market and Economy. In tandem with this effort, government has been focusing on deepening and strengthening its bilateral relations with the Caribbean, Latin America, North America, and Europe, as well as developing new non-traditional partners in Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, the Gulf states, and Central and South America. We've created new heads of missions across the world, including Canada, Kenya, China, the United Arab Emirates, and New York. And new diplomatic posts were established in Accra, Ghana, and the UK to diversify the way in which Barbados represents and promotes its overseas interests. I think these things are so fundamentally important. I mean, some people have asked, why do we need to have these new arrangements at this time? The question really is, why wouldn't we have these new arrangements at this time? We have to find new partners to be able to do new things. And I think the time now demands of us that we are innovative and that we recognize there's some things that we can carry on forever. There's some things as a government and as a country we will hold on to, but there comes a point in time where you have to let go of certain things too and try and find new relationships and try and find new partners, and that is what growth is about. And that we have to be able to adapt according to the times and to find new opportunities. You know, the days are gone where people will give developing countries things, and we have to find our own way in the world. So government, as you know, has already signed a sister port agreement with the port of Bridgetown and the port of Tema, Ghana, and is concluding another agreement with the port of Mombasa in Kenya. We're also looking at new market penetrations that would allow us to be able to move new trade lanes with Africa and South America, with the port of Bridgetown positioned as a hub for transshipment through the Caribbean. I think what we are embarking on is going to be really exciting. When Barbados positions itself as a hub for all things Caribbean, and the amount of job opportunities that is going to create, the amount of economic opportunity it's going to create for Barbados, I think it is going to be significant. The agreement with the ports is projected to, one, foster technological developments through information and expertise sharing, share information on best practices and developments in the global maritime industry, collaborate on matters relating to environmental protection and green port initiatives, exchange information on business opportunities to raise awareness among the private sectors in both regions in areas of interest, develop opportunities for personnel training and apprenticeship, so we get to send people there to learn and they get to send people here to learn, promote the services of both ports as the efficient and the sustainable pathway for trade into their respective regions. We will also facilitate the achievement of the objectives of the respective ports, serving as sister port to the port of Bridgetown to support increased trade. And we're going to finally support the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding between the country's private sectors and the Barbados Chamber of Commerce. So I'm saying to you that when we do these things, we are doing so with a view to developing Barbados in a way that allows all of us to benefit. I'm reminded, as the chairman said, of the road, or was it you, CEO, the words of Grantley Adams, that this has to be about, it was you, Chair, increasing imports and exports for all of us in Barbados. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, the Bridgetown Port, in support of these initiatives, has engaged resources to explore business opportunities at several levels. So we're taking it seriously. I do not think that we are just here for talk. We are taking these things seriously and we're putting in place the mechanisms to be able to do it. We're continuing discussions with partner agencies revolved around new export market penetration, defining trade lanes and routes to markets in the hope of creating extraordinary opportunities for local businesses to expand their capacity and internationalize their operations. So for those of you who work at the Bridgetown Port, I think you have a lot to be proud of, a lot to be thankful for as well. The port, in my mind, remains one of the best places in Barbados to work. I am proud of the relationship between the port and the union in the port, and I want to thank especially the representatives of the Barbados Workers Union who were here. I have a commitment to the labor movement. I think it is essential. I think the only way forward is to recognize that people who are in the labor movement demand and deserve our respect, and that we will not do anything in this Bridgetown Port to violate that relationship. But at the same time, we have places to go, and that we have to work together to be able to achieve what the Bridgetown Port is capable of achieving. So again, I want to thank you for these wonderful opportunities that I have over the course of this week as we celebrate 60 years. Again, I reiterate, 60 years in 60 days. I hope someday that I get to celebrate. You know, when you get older, you hope to be older. So when I'm older, I hope someday I get to be 60. And when you're young, you never think of being 60. But as you get older, you hope for these things. So I hope that I get the opportunity to celebrate someday a 60-year anniversary of life. But I think the port, having reached there, is no easy accomplishment. And again, I wish to congratulate the port on this wonderful achievement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Humphrey. How far away from 60 are you?
Not too far.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many talented men and women who work here at the Barbados Port, and this next lady is no exception. Please put your hands together and welcome the clerical officer in the finance department with a rendition of Hold Us Together. Please welcome Miss Alicia Lloyd. Once again, please give her a warm welcome. Miss Alicia Lloyd doing Hold Us Together.
I will trust in you and know that you are with me forever. I confide in you, 'cause you're the only answer that matters. Even in the darkness, you will be my light. Even when I'm hopeless, you will be my guide. I will not be shaken, I will not be moved. Even in the chaos, I know that you're good. You're the keeper, protector. It's you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It's you that holds us together. Oh, oh. I will trust in you. Your thoughts and plans of me, they are good. And I'll wait on you and know that you will see me through. 'Cause even in the darkness, you will be my light. Even when I'm hopeless, you will be my guide. I will not be shaken, I will not be moved. Even in the chaos, I know that you're good. You're the keeper, protector. It's you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It's you that holds us together. You're the keeper, protector. It's you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It's you that holds us together. You're the keeper, protector. It's you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It's you that holds us together. You're the keeper, protector. It's you that holds us together when everything else fails us. It's you that holds us together. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Alicia Lloyd. Well, you know, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, and now we have the opportunity to take a look back from when the construction of the port began in 1957. This piece is entitled 60 Moments in Our Time. It was produced by Creative Edge, and it traces the history of the port from when construction began and all the major milestones. We'll give you a bit of a sneak peek. Turn your attention to the screen, ladies and gentlemen, for 60 Moments in Our Time. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, 60 moments in our time, the full length of the video, yes, produced by Creative Edge. The full length of the video can be viewed on Barbados Pork Inc. Facebook and Instagram pages, so you can look at the social media to get the full length video. What wonderful moments in Barbados' history. And now we turn our attention, ladies and gentlemen, to the time capsule. And as the minister mentioned earlier, how important such an act is. This has been done, I think it dates back to 5,000 years ago, time capsule being used to preserve a piece of the present for the future. And there are several special items that will be going into the time capsule. It will be housed right here at Cube Blue and will be opened in 15 years. And as I call up each individual, they'll be each placing a special item into the time capsule. And I'll ask each individual to just stay over here so that we can get a group photo when all of the items are placed inside of the time capsule. I begin now by calling the Honorable Kirk Humphrey to place the first item into the time capsule. It is the Barbados Port flag. So Minister Herb Humphrey is placing the Barbados Port flag into the time capsule. Thank you, sir. Next, I call the Divisional Manager of Operations, Captain Ian Stewart. And I'll make that correction, actually. I'm speaking it into the universe, perhaps. Divisional Manager of Operations, Mr. Ian Stewart, will be placing Barbados rum into the time capsule. Of course, rum is Barbados' leading export product. All right, thank you. The next item will be placed by the Harbor Master, Captain Carl Gonzalez. Captain Gonzalez will be placing a commemorative pin of the Pelican II tug and the pilot launch and BPI. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. The next item, which certainly has become a collector's item for many of us here in Barbados, will be placed by Delegate Ricardo Grant. He'll be placing a commemorative glow-in-the-dark essential worker dollar coin. He's placing a commemorative glow-in-the-dark essential worker dollar coin. Thank you, Ricardo. The next item is being placed by Rosalind Batson Haynes. Rosalind will be placing branded BPI stationery. That's branded stationery from Barbados Port Inc. Thank you, Rosalind. Next will be Mr. Erwin Collymore, Health and Safety Officer. And it's fitting that Erwin will be placing a safety vest and mask into the time capsule. Thank you, Erwin. The next item will be placed by Delegate Glendine Lewis. Glendine Lewis. And Glendine will be placing a newspaper of the day. I can hear whispers from the audience. It's a Nation newspaper. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to call Captain Carl Branch, Divisional Manager of Corporate Development. Captain Branch will be placing a Barbados Port Inc. writing pen and letter opener set. Thank you, Captain Branch. The next item will be placed by Chairman Mr. Peter Odell. Mr. Odell will be placing a letter to the future chairman. That will be the chairman 15 years from now when the capsule is being opened. And last but by no means least, the CEO, Mr. David Jean-Marie, will be placing a letter to the future CEO. As the final item going into the time capsule, we take this opportunity to ask all of you to gather for a group photo. While they gather for the group photo, I will list the items that were placed in the time capsule, which will be opened in 15 years, ladies and gentlemen. The time capsule will be opened in 2036. It contains the Barbados port flag, Barbados rum, the commemorative pins of the Pelican 2 tug and the pilot launch in BPMI, a commemorative glow-in-the-dark essential worker dollar coin, branded BPI stationery, a safety vest and mask, a newspaper of the day, the BPI writing pen and letter opener set, a letter to the future chairman of the Barbados Port Inc., and a letter to the future CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, may we have a round of applause for all of the individuals who placed the items, which will be open in 15 years in 2036. I hope to see all of you back here. And the closure of the time capsule is being facilitated by security officers Lamar Chase and Ryan Lucas. I feel like we need a fanfare. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The time capsule has been sealed and will be opened in 15 years, in 2036. And I'm going to attempt to read upside down. It reads, Barbados Port Inc. time capsule to be opened on our 75th anniversary, May 6, 2036. All right, thank you. You may have your seats. Thank you once again to security officers Lamar Chase and Ryan Lucas, who facilitated the closure of the time capsule. And now we take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Curtis Smith, who's the Divisional Manager of Human Resources and Industrial Relations, to offer the vote of thanks. The vote of thanks. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Good evening, all. Honorable Kirk Humphrey, Minister of Maritime Affairs and Blue Economy, Mrs. Tony Moore, MP, General Secretary, Barbados Workers Union, Chairman of the Barbados Port Inc., Mr. Peter Odell, other members of the Board of Directors, Chief Executive Officer, management and staff of the Barbados Port Inc., other heads of agencies, and specially invited guests. Good evening again. As we approach the conclusion of today's formalities, allow me to extend thanks on behalf of the Barbados Sport Inc. to all those persons who assisted in making this event a success. The objects we have placed in our capsule capture the major part of our history and of our lives, in the present and of the future that we envision. They are symbols of our actions, experiences, and ideas that are worthy of preservation and that we hope would reflect the best vision of who we are today when opened on our 75th anniversary on May 6, 2036. To Minister Humphrey, we are honored that you could join us this evening. The sentiments you express have reinforced that we have the resources to take us forward into the sustainable and forward-thinking business model that will better both position of our company and our country for at least another 6 years. It was a pleasure to have you with us this evening on this occasion, and we express our appreciation for your willingly taking time to help us in this capturing of this particular moment in time. Special thanks to our chairman, Mr. Peter Odell. We extend our deepest appreciation to you for your stewardship over the past 8 months and your leadership in driving the port towards a better future. To our Chief Executive Officer, Mr. David Jean-Marie, thank you for your visioning, leadership, and commitment to ensuring the development of opportunities for continued institutional growth for our BPA team. And as you would have heard throughout the evening, we are indeed fortunate to be backed by a team of dedicated colleagues of the Barbados Sport Inc., of which I'm proud to be a member. You would have heard the Minister mention that there are lists of many projects that are being undertaken by the team, and just to mention across the various business units, the business development and corporate communications, management information systems, digital innovation and development, human resources, internal audit and quality management, engineering, property management, maintenance and projects, terminal operations, marine services, finance, and by no least security. These teams show that the true dedication and determination in creating high-performance culture here at the Port of Bridgetown. I want to thank you very much for your contributions, and we look forward to your continued support during the coming years. Special mention must also be made of our 18-member 60th Anniversary Committee, who are particularly results-oriented with a keen eye for detail. And I'm sure that as we go on, you will recognize that the various activities that are being organized throughout the 60th anniversary will bring great pride to the workers and the port as an organization, as those team members contribute towards organizing such events. This team conceptualized and worked tirelessly to pull our celebratory events together. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on and complete the tasks that are required, especially for today's event. To our songstress for the evening, Ms. Alicia Lloyd, thank you for sharing with us your amazing talent. To our security team members who assisted this evening, Mr. Lamar Chase and Mr. Ryan Lucas, thank you very much for turning out so dapper and making the port security uniform look so sharp. Special thank you to our Master of Ceremonies, Ms. Bell Holder, our production team of Fuel Tech, Staging Solutions, and AccuSongs on their professional delivery today. Thank you again, folks. Really appreciate it. And finally, to our staff and special guests, join us here and online via YouTube and Facebook. We especially thank you for taking the time out to celebrate our 60th anniversary. Thank you all again. Good evening.
Much. Thank you so much to Mr. Curtis Smith for delivering the vote of thanks, and thank you to each and every one of you here, and as Curtis mentioned as well, online, who've joined us this afternoon to celebrate the 60th anniversary Diamond Jubilee of the Barbados Port. I take this opportunity to say thank you so much to Minister Humphrey for joining us this afternoon, to his Permanent Secretary, Sonia Foster, thank you, To the chairman, Mr. Peter Odell, and the CEO, Mr. David Jean-Marie, thank you all so much for being here, and to our invited guests and all of the staff, thank you. Keep up the hard work that has made the port what it is today. And we take this opportunity as well to ask you to stay with us for some refreshments, which will be served at the back. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Belle Holder. It's been an absolute pleasure serving as the Master of Ceremony this afternoon. Thank you so much.